You're watching TV News at 10. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We start off in Abuja, where the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party met earlier today to chart a way forward for the party. The emergency meeting took place at the lodge of Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed. Led by former President of the Senate, Adolphus Wabara, the gathering has in attendance Oyo State Governor Makinde, PDP Factional Chairman Turaki, and former Chairman of the party, Damagum. Others include former PDP Deputy National Chairman BoT, former Information Minister Jerry Gana, former Governor of Niger State Babangida Aliyu, and several prominent party members. In his opening remarks, the BoT Chairman Adolphus Wabara said the judgment of the Court of Appeal on Monday is an opportunity for the PDP to begin again. Other members of the party say it's a challenging period for the PDP and democracy in Nigeria.
There's a concept of equifinality. The main thing is when the reason, when a position is picked. How you arrived at the position is not an issue. But arriving at a position that would achieve two things. One, that PDP does not die, and two, that it remains a platform that people can go for election.
I can say personally, and on behalf of my chairman, that when the story of this period is told, and when the story of democracy in Nigeria is told, they will find us on the side of the people.
Judgment of the Court of Appeal, Abuja division yesterday, it becomes imperative that our leaders must sit and then consider the situation on the ground and then come up with workable and implementable options that will save this party and indeed save Nigeria's democracy.
Meanwhile, former President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has appealed to all leaders and stakeholders in the People's Democratic Party to resolve the ongoing litigations over the party's disputed national convention and focus on organizing a fresh one in line with electoral guidelines. Senator Saraki made the appeal today in a statement posted on his X handle and signed by the head of the Bukola Saraki Media Office, Yusuf Olaniyono. He was reacting to the Court of Appeal judgment that upheld earlier rulings invalidating the PDP National Convention held in Ibadan in November 2025. The former Kwara State Governor said the party must accept the verdict and move swiftly to organize a new national convention in line with the timetable of the Independent National Electoral Commission. He warned that continued litigation could jeopardize the chances of party members seeking to contest the 2027 general elections on the PDP platform. Meanwhile, PDP says a recent ruling by the Court of Appeal of Nigeria has strengthened the authority of its national caretaker leadership amid an ongoing internal crisis. Acting chairman of the party's National Caretaker Working Committee, Abdulrahman Mohammed, described the judgment as a victory for the rule of law. Speaking in Abuja after a meeting of the Caretaker Committee, Abdulrahman Mohammed said the ruling reaffirms his committee as the only legitimate national leadership of the party. Meanwhile, the party says preparations are on the way for its national convention scheduled for March 29 and 30 in Abuja. Officials later conducted journalists on an inspection of the National Stadium, the proposed venue for the convention, as the party attempts to stabilize its leadership and rebuild unity ahead of the next electoral cycle.
With the leadership of our leaders and the composition of the National Caretaker Working Committee, we are going to do everything possible to make sure that we have a smooth national convention that we have never ever had before. You can hear from the speech of the National Secretary yesterday. We call on all team members of our party to come so that we work together for the progress of the party and democracy in Nigeria.
Well, I have already given notice to INEC for over 21 days now. So INEC is aware of our convention coming up on the 29th and 30th. So there's no litigation that's affecting it. That's just the truth. Actually, to tell our party faithfuls, all those members who wants to contest election under the platform of PDP, that they should not be afraid.
Let's talk to lawyer Jide Ologun for more on this development. Mr. Ologun, thanks for joining us on TVC News at 10. While the Wike-led PDP is now preparing for its national convention, the Turaki faction is at a crossroads whether to test this judgment at the Supreme Court or yield to the advice to move on and unite with the other faction. What do you think will be the implication of appealing this at the Apex Court?
Thank you, Mifemi. The Apex Court is always waiting for an appeal coming from the Court of Appeal. So how quickly that will be dispensed with is subject to the discretion of the Honorable Justices in the Supreme Court. But like the former governor of Kwara State advised, I think it's now time for PDP to engage non-judicial approaches to resolving their conflicts. A wise man once said, we cannot change what we don't acknowledge. Now PDP knows they have issues to resolve, and that we cannot conquer what we don't confront. You have to confront it and put your house in order. And shortly we'll be discussing the timetable of INEC. So time is definitely not on the side of PDP at this point. Otherwise, the elections may come without PDP not being able to field candidates for, critical positions in the coming elections. And that is why some are already advising that perhaps PDP should be focusing at 2031. And when you talk about conflict resolution, it begins with a talk, a chance to listen, a chance to walk in the shoes of others, understand their plights, then come to a common ground and make things right. But it's really a long journey for PDP right now. But if they decide to go to the Supreme Court, it's a legitimate move. Supreme Court remains the highest court in the land since 1963 when we became a republic. And whatever Supreme Court says becomes final. But I doubt if INEC is going to wait for that time that will be spent in the Supreme Court, So those are my concerns for now.
As it stands now, 29th and 30th is the proposed date for the party's national convention. It's not likely that congresses will hold in the 14 states, as expressed by the Supreme Court, by the Court of Appeal earlier. What's the implication of moving ahead without those congresses? What does this mean for the validity of the planned convention?
Of course, there's what we call precedent in law. You saw the convention that held in Ibadan, and for a faction within the PDP, it was legitimate. But now, the judiciary has interpreted the actions there, and they have dismantled what was put in place there. And except you appeal on it, you have no choice but to comply, even if you are not happy. So I will advise PDP to look at the regulations on ground and comply, because it was the absence of compliance that led to the current experience. We all know that Section 1 of the Nigeria Constitution 1999, as amended, has put the rule of law in place that every institution and individuals in the country are subject to the supremacy of the law. So here we are right now. Otherwise, we'll be playing into the hands of the prominent party we have in the country now. And don't forget that when you talk about preparedness, APC appears to be the most prepared party right now. We are still talking about e-registration of members. We are talking about the fact that the notice of election has been rolled out in compliance with the requirement that should be 300 days notice. That was done February 13, 2026. The submission of political parties membership register will be between April 1 and April 21, 2026, and the parties' primaries and resolution of disputes should be between April 23 and May 30th, 2026. Submission of nomination forms for presidential and national assembly, June 27 to I think July 11, 2026. You see, and for governorship and state assemblies, that should be between July 18 and August 8, 2026. So when you look at all these that are ahead, then what time have you, when you have conflicts to engage you, to really put your house in order and come up with a formidable front to challenge the ruling party that, as of today, has about 33 out of the 36 governors in the state. And I think about 242 of the 360 House of Reps member, and I think about 81 seats or thereabouts in the Senate, which some of us have described as remarkable majority, not just simple majority. And so these are the challenges, and that is why some politicians are beginning to say, oh, they will go and challenge the amended Electoral Act in court because it appears not to be providing a level playing ground. So it's a tight one.
Indeed.
For PDP. Right?
It's a race against time with the new INEC shadow for the PDP. That's our time, Mr. Jide Ologun. Thank you for your insight.
You're welcome. God bless Nigeria.